Hello, friends. Welcome to the first episode of Abao podcast. Our first guest today is Jennifer Lee. Jennifer is a friend, fellow nerd, and someone who I admire greatly. She was the Salutatorian of our graduating class of 2024 and my rival candidate for student council just this year. In school, we rarely had time to talk, but when we did, it was as though I had someone who understood the pressure and expectation I needlessly put upon myself. Dare I say, a fellow high achiever. Some examples of what we talk about in this episode are the moral dilemmas medical school students are about to face, the concrete utopia, as Jennifer puts it, of Korea, the pitfalls of Korean society, how anxiety and self-care conflict, the appeal of paperback books, our favorite documentaries, and much more. Join us on the first episode, the first step of this podcast's journey. Okay, we are live. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome to a brave, adventurous, ordinary podcast. I still have to kind of wrap my head around that name because it's so long. But yeah, I want to ask you right off the bat, how are you?
First of all, Ding, thanks for inviting me. This is the first episode of your podcast, and I'm honored to be here as your first guest. Um, I've been I've been excellent. I have had such a great time staying in Korea. I left the Philippines earlier June, right after our Bachelorette trip, and it's been like around 2 months since I've been here. I've went to trips with my family. There was a lot of communication with university so far, so I'm still trying to figure things out with that. But yeah, I mean, I've had such a great time without that academic stress pressuring me because
Yeah.
all my trips before, I was like so stressed about doing my extended essay or studying for the exams or something. So without that, I am having the greatest sleep of my life nowadays.
Really,
Wonderful.
I
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask you about your sleep. I actually like explicitly put it down in my notes. Like, ask Jennifer about like her sleep schedule and how that's gonna like translate into like the rest of 8 years in medical school. Um, but like I'll hold up. I'll save that for later. Cause you said you went to Korea right after batch
Mm-hmm.
Boracay, right?
Yes, I did.
Wait, so what's the whole process gonna look like there? Cause I remember last time I asked you, you were like kind of in between going to like Australia, Singapore, Korea. Like where are you planning to go for medical school?
No, that's really complex right now because one, I didn't really apply to a lot of medicine in Korea specifically because I have talked to several like professionals that have expertise in sending kids to medical schools from like my group of kids where they graduate from like an IB diploma in a foreign country.
Yeah.
And apparently you need a 4 to 5 for your IB score.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, no, I cannot.
Yeah, for those who don't know the IB conversion, a
Mm.
45 is top 0.01%, I think. Uh Probably, yeah, so it's like upper percentile, right?
Yeah, there's only probably, I don't know, like 1% of the world
Yeah.
population that has it. But yeah, I just knew that I couldn't get it, and I didn't get a 45 to be precise. So, like, I wasn't going to risk all my applications because I only have a minimum of 6 for Korean universities.
Mm.
So, but yeah, like you said, I really do want to get into medicine. So, even if I apply to these chemistry majors in top tier universities in Korea, I don't know if I'll go in, and the results literally come out in August, so I'm still unsure yet. I also applied to vet med here in Korea,
Yeah.
one university. That comes out in December this year. Australia, funny story. Apparently, the applications for the med system, I mean, the med program that I applied to was closed ever since
Oh
earlier this
no.
year.
Oh
Earlier this
no.
year when I applied. So I reapplied to 2026 admissions, which I'm not like against because I get 1 free year of like doing
Yeah,
anything in
true,
Korea
true,
that I
true.
want. So my
Really, just in Korea? Like you don't plan to
I mean, I could travel, yeah, but it's just I don't know. For now, I actually got a part-time job as well this week. Like
really,
I'm
which
starting a
is
part-time job. I'm teaching elementary kids English, reading, writing,
mm,
yeah, stuff like that. So it's gonna be a pretty long-term job, I believe.
yeah.
So I want to stay consistent with that. That's probably the reason why I'm going to be staying in Korea for the most of my time, but
Mm.
hopefully I get an opportunity to travel to Australia before I go for back.
Well,
Yeah.
I I guess that's ambiguous. How
Yeah.
do you know how much you get paid like part-time? Like, do you know the minimum wage in Korea? Because
Yeah.
funny story, I was researching this the other day,
Mhm.
and if you didn't know, Australia has the highest
Oh yeah.
minimum wage like per
It does.
hour, right?
Yeah, I heard. I
Um,
heard. Yeah.
it is $17
That's
US
crazy.
an hour.
That is crazy.
Yes. Um, and guess how much the US is minimum wage?
Like $10? What is it?
I mean, you're close. It's $7.
Oh,
Seven
that's
bucks an
lower than
hour.
Korea.
Yeah. And I mean like both places or all three places are super expensive to live in.
Uh-huh.
So I was just a bit shocked,
That is shocking,
to
yeah.
say the least.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I know what I'm gaining, and I think because I'm not doing much in the academy, I'm just going to be a substitute teacher. I don't
Mm-hmm.
deserve that much money
Oh
compared to the
wow.
minimum wage. Yeah, but I think I'm getting enough,
You know,
honestly.
I heard actually, correct me if I'm wrong, are
Hmm.
teachers really respected in Korea? 'Cause like,
Hmm.
yeah, I heard that teachers actually get paid a lot in Korea, like as opposed to in other
Mm.
countries. So,
Well, I think that just compared to other office jobs in Korea that their wage is high because you know how salarymen they don't have a vacation. They don't have summer
yeah,
break, they don't have
yeah,
winter break, and they don't get
yeah.
paid when they go on break, right?
Mm-hmm.
But teachers, it's a government based work that they get a free summer break, winter break, and they still get paid every month.
Pretty good gig.
Yeah, that's why. And my aunt is a teacher, and she's an elementary school teacher, and I am so jealous of her for having so much money during break too, because she just travels all the time to places, and she's like, I don't have to worry about that. It's my break.
Well, why medicine then instead of being a teacher? Um,
Well, I've also been thinking about why I wanted to do medicine, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
why I want to be a surgeon, but like I think it really has to do with my family because I lost family member to a really big cancer before, about when I was in
Mm-hmm.
sixth grade. And I don't know, but that I wasn't even close to that family member.
Yeah.
He was my grandpa. I wasn't that close to him,
Mm.
but I was still so impacted by it that somehow I was determined to love science. I don't know, but like I said in
Just
my
love
speech,
science. Yeah.
yeah, I started loving science since sixth grade after my science teacher from middle school, Mr. Ditano, introduced me to like this whole new world. I used to hate it
Mm-hmm.
before. But after that, I kind of started figuring out what I want, my values. And my value, one of my most important values was, I think, um, selflessness. Let's just say like
Yeah.
abnegation somehow. Like I want to help people, and I think loving science, that kind of value, added together really kind of adds up to what medicine really like represents.
True, true, true.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like the embodiment of actually making the science and all the jargon like into something useful. Because
Yeah.
if you've ever considered a career as a scientist, you'd probably realize how well, just for me at least, this is no shot to the rest of my friends who are trying to become scientists, because there are a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But to me at least, the idea of just working in a lab and doing constant research really like hampered me down. Like that was just a
Yeah,
big
me
no-no
too.
for me,
Yeah,
right?
me too. That depressed me because I don't know, but I consider myself a pretty social person. I want
Mm-hmm.
to interact with others while I'm in work. And I
Yeah.
think medicine is one of those careers where you can really build up with your own like mind and you with your own discipline, with your own
Yeah.
intelligence or whatever. Because in an office job, you really have to work that way up. But in
True.
medicine,
Yeah.
you can work that way up by handling more patients or
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah. Yeah.
practice more. And I think that work really pays off when you're in that sort of field that is difficult to get in the first place.
Oh yeah, fair. So
Yeah.
it's not like as much of a rat race, you mean, as like business where you kind of have to
Yeah.
where like your like 100% work doesn't exactly pay off in dividends, no.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And I
I
just want to
see.
see the smiles of patients when like if I become a doctor one day and I treat one patient and the surgery comes out to be really good, like I want to see the smiles on their faces and I go, I feel like that's worth living for. I think
Ah,
that's when I
yeah.
decided I really wanted to become
Yes.
like a surgeon because I imagined that scene and I'm like, yeah, I am becoming a surgeon.
Wow. No, that's actually such a coincidence because I was watching a video the other day, and then it was this neuroscientist, and
Mhm.
it's actually a really funny, not funny, but it was kind of a bizarre video because the neuroscientist, it's a pretty viral video. It has like 8 million views or something.
Mhm.
But he was filming like in the middle of like Tibet or like mountain ranges. And
Uh-huh.
then the video was titled like I quit, my job as a neurosurgeon.
Uh-huh.
And then basically like the whole premise thesis of his video is how like he initially thought that surgery would
Mhm.
cure people. And I
Mhm.
mean, this isn't to bog you down. I mean, both of us have zero kind of experience yet. But his
Mhm.
perspective was actually that a lot of his patients he couldn't save.
Mhm.
And a lot of his patients he really had no control over because he made the analogy he mostly did spine surgery because your
Ah,
brain
yeah,
is connected to your
connected to
spine,
the spine, yeah.
yeah, so he mostly did spine surgery, and what he
Mhm.
found was that most people he did spine surgery on, the analogy was he was just kind of like putting a plug in on the leak because they'd develop problems again,
Mhm.
and all surgery was for him was kind of a tool to remedy temporary like problems temporarily, and
Yeah.
he found actually the people who recovered
Mhm.
didn't even need surgery and they based their life off of like exercise, diet, like sleep, low stress.
Mhm.
And like I mean, I have mixed opinions about it, but it's
Mhm.
definitely like a opinion to consider. So the lad just packed up all his things, freaking quit surgery, and he's out in the mountains now, man. He said he's having a midlife crisis. So,
Oh, poor
um,
guy.
yeah. So different perspective, I guess.
Honestly, like I get where that guy's coming from because when you think about like the function of surgery and like the function of what doctors play as a role in society, they're doing something very unnatural to the human body. Like
Yeah.
a disease, whatever sickness, illness you have, it's naturally happening. Cancer doesn't happen. I mean, you could be like exposed to radiation or something and increase the chances of
Yeah.
getting it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But having cancer or a tumor is like unexpected unexpected. Like you cannot predict when it's going to appear.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, we're kind of doctors definitely cross that line of whether we're supposed to be doing it or not.
True.
But in my personal opinion, I think for those people that really do want to get a surgery, I think it's just to get that final chance. I
Yeah.
mean, it's better than doing nothing. Like, just imagine yourself, you have 1 month of living. There is like a surgery that you can do that has 50% of helping you live at least 3 more months or something. But I think if I were that patient in that certain crisis, I would probably do something to at least make myself better, and that would be surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's better than doing nothing. That's what I personally think.
I guess, yeah. And I feel like there's a whole like side of medical school like you have to look at. And then there's
Mm.
a whole side of like the emotional aspects of it like frick
Oh
man,
yeah.
this patient wants to do this. Have
Ooh
you
yeah.
watched like Grey's Anatomy or like any doctor shows? Like I mean, I know you watch a lot of like Korean like
Mm.
doctor shows
Mhm.
and like there's like they have tons of scenarios where like the patient just chooses the wrong thing and then
Yeah.
the doctor wants to like recommend the right procedure and then he
Mm.
gets pissed or she gets pissed because it's like the patient doesn't want to go through it because of his own personal reasons, his
Uh-huh.
or her. Am I just misogynistic? Sorry, am I just the opposite of misogynistic? My bad. But like yeah, it's kind of that situation, that
We're
you might
questioning
have to
the
do.
endless moral dilemma of doctors here with patients. That's like the whole entire point. When you look at a lot of medical exams, there's actually a moral um, section. And these sections are very hard to solve because there are like, let's say there's like four choices to one kind of scenario. And a lot of these tests, for example, the UCAT, which is the UK aptitude test for medical
Yeah.
school, the moral part has like partially correct and correct. That's how
Oh
specific it
wow.
is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it's
That's
really
good.
difficult. Yeah, and it's so difficult. I got mid score on it because I don't know what I did wrong, but it was really difficult because there were situations where you cannot determine if you want the best for the patient or you, the doctor.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, it's a lot
I
of
mean,
sacrifice you have to make, and
I
it's
mean,
really
is there
hard to figure
really
out.
is there really a point in making that part of the test though? Because like how yeah, how can you like objectify that as,
I don't
huh,
even know why they put
it's
that
kind of
part.
weird.
It was that test is for high school students that have no experience in medicine, and I honestly think they put that part just to cancel out kids that have bad morality, like
Oh,
really
that's
bad
fair.
morality.
Like
Yeah,
cancel out the serial killers.
yeah, cancel out some of the psychopaths in the group, I guess.
Wow. No, yeah, that's completely valid. Well, I had a question written here actually
Hmm.
that I said I would refer back to a while ago. But like, do you think your sleep schedule will worsen in medical school?
That's so funny because, like, in the, what is that, the yearbook, I was put as the most likely to be awake, which is
Oh,
not
just most
wrong.
likely to
Like,
be awake.
yeah, most likely to be awake. And I put that because all of my friends in the group chat were like, that's just perfect for you. And I was like, what the heck? But, um, actually now I've started to kind of build a schedule for how I'm
Hmm.
going to be studying. Like, I've been sleeping at like 10 or like as
Wow.
late as 12 and trying to wake up early so I can do something like read, go to the gym. I know, self-improvement.
Actually, yeah, no.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that's actually so good for you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a hard, it's been a rough time trying to fix my sleep schedule. But like right after IB exams ended, like
Yeah.
I slept so much. Like I slept, like I had at least 2 naps a day. And I think that really kind of resetted my whole body system
Hmm.
because now I actually feel fresh when I wake up
Right,
and
right.
stuff. Yeah, so I think my sleep schedule hopefully is going to be better. But honestly, I didn't sleep when I was in school because
Yeah.
I just kept on, sometimes I would procrastinate so much. And
Hmm.
then I would suddenly get the surge of like anxiety that I have to do all my work
Yeah,
at
yeah,
night.
yeah.
And then I would just like cram everything and then I would just wouldn't sleep. That's the whole point.
Yeah. The,
Yeah, I really need to fix that. The procrastination is a big problem and it's a regret that I have when
I
was in
mean,
high school.
they say actually, I was watching a psychology video
Hmm.
on YouTube. There's this guy, Healthy Gamer GG. He's
Okay.
a psychiatrist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he just said like, if you want to be a doctor, like most doctors are gonna have the personality trait of being anxious. Um, and
Okay.
I was just like, yeah, like the reason why a lot of I feel like medical school students would skip a party and study all night long
Hmm.
is because of anxiety, and it's not something, it's not like bad, it's just a
Yeah.
response to the, like, to whatever they're feeling, I think. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I've felt the same way, kind of. I don't think it's ever driven me to go sleepless nights like you.
Oh, really?
um
Like, I don't know.
yeah,
Anxiety was my main motivator, which I think has a lot of problems. Like, it gets pretty toxic when you, there's a balance between it now that I realize it. Like, before, I used to be so anxious to the point I couldn't just sleep without doing something as early as possible.
yeah,
But now it's like, why did I even do that? Like, I could have just divided into parts, done it a little more smoothly, and I wouldn't have to cram it so hard.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's really, really, really easier said than done, because I've stated the same sentiments as you right now. Like, oh yeah, I could have probably managed my time better or cared less about whatever arbitrary score I was getting in school. But
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
you don't actually feel that way until you get the score and you're like, this
Yeah.
really isn't shit,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now we can sleep like babies, and
Uh-huh.
now it's 2 naps a day, you said, was it?
Yeah, yeah,
For me, it's a nap a
yeah.
day now. um
Mm.
but I feel like that's just my sleep schedule as well, because I try to wake up really early, and then by like
Mhm.
2 p.m. I'm burnt out, and then
Oh,
start
yeah, I
taking
know what you
naps.
mean. Yeah, that's why I don't wake up earlier than 6. I can't do
Oh,
that.
wait, earlier than 6? What?
I
So,
used to. I used to. Like when
oh
I
yeah.
first got from the Philippines to Korea, I have this big goal of running every morning to the Han River at like waking up at
Oh
4
wow.
a.m. or something. And that like, what kind of goal was that? Like after 2 days, I was done.
Running, really?
Yeah,
No, cause actually right now, I hear running is really trendy, like
I
joining running clubs and
know.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's trendy in Korea too, I imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that run. Like I see a bunch of groups like of I don't know. I think they're like people that get off work right after 6 p.m. and they just like join a group or something, just a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
strangers, and they meet
Yeah.
on chat groups and they go running in Holland River and
Oh
it's really
wow.
cool. Yeah, I really want to join stuff like that, but as an 18-year-old, I don't have the guts to join a bunch of 30-year-olds
Really?
running.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I feel
Yeah,
like it's a way for them to socialize, honestly, because like
definitely. Hmm.
it's I feel like it's much easier to socialize when you're doing things with other people. But nowadays, like, what is there to do with other people, like, really to
Mm-hmm.
socialize? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's not much, right?
I mean, that's why people in
Yeah.
the US call running clubs basically like a dating club because
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
just where
basically.
so many people meet. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've actually, funny story. I've in the Philippines, I've seen like village running clubs. There's like the Rockwell Running Club and things like that, like
What?
pop up
I
on
never
my
saw
yeah,
that.
yeah, that pop up on my Instagram feed, and then it's like the comments are just like just pointing out that like people there all look good, and then like people there are all there to like look for a date, like
Oh wow. Hey, where's
so
my Ayala Alabang running club? Come on, where is my
no,
group?
I'm sure there is one, but like I don't know. I might join one in Australia. Like, depend. Like, I'm sure because Australia is a super
Hmm.
active kind of country, which is why like it's such a big contrast to you staying in Korea actually.
Hmm.
Um, because I was making my decision initially. I
Hmm.
got university offers from Hong Kong and
Hmm.
Australia, and
Hmm.
the reason I chose Australia was because the lifestyle is just so much more chill. Like,
Mm.
um, we've I wanted to ask you so many questions about Korean society actually, because
Mm, okay.
it's actually like a side interest of mine, let's say. Because I have so many Korean friends, I
Mm.
get so many perspectives on Korean society.
Hmm.
What I guess just to go with a more general question on it, what are your views on it, like in general, like Korea?
That's a. It's not something that you could straightforwardly say, do you like it or not? It's
Oh,
a. I would say it's a city. It's a cold city, but if you look hard
yeah,
into it, it's really nice. If you really look hard into it, because Korea has so much culture, it has so much entertainment, it has so much things you can enjoy. But I think it's all kind of Korean people don't really see a lot of it because of how difficult their life is. Everything's so expensive here, first of all. Everyone works super hard. Students are always studying every single day until late night. And
wow,
it's
yeah,
hard to get that way up in the hierarchy.
yeah,
Like you cannot, people think that you can get high up by studying, but to be honest, in the big picture, that's really not true. Rich people stay rich, poor people stay poor. That's kind of like the society that Korean has. And
huh,
but if you kind of think about it in the good way, like for me personally, I kind of see that I see all the bad stuff going on and it's terrible. But when I kind of just walk around, I just see the city, it's so pretty. So
yeah,
that's why I can't lose my love against this country because of how beautiful it is. And I really want to stay here because when you really look hard into it, it's really fun. Everything's nice. You can live comfortably here. It's just, you really need to work hard or else you're not going to survive at all. So yeah.
mm, I see, huh? So like just the big city like landscape really like suits your taste, I guess,
Yeah.
because I never really got that feel. Because I'm from Taipei and Shanghai, kind of. So I go to both places like really regularly.
Mhm.
I like walking out in the city. Like, don't get
Mhm.
me wrong, but like, I just feel like for me, just seeing trees, like green trees, like all around the area, and like
Uh-huh.
just like a lake or something. I feel like that's enough for me, I guess. So
Really? I'm
yeah.
the complete opposite. When I went to Shanghai for vacation, I've like imagined numerous times just on a short 3-day trip. I really want to try living in this city
Oh
because of how
really?
beautiful the concrete buildings were. Like I
The
love
concrete buildings.
it
Wow.
sounds so weird, but like I am so attracted by the whole idea of such a lively city with such beautiful architecture and bright neon lights everywhere I go. When I went to Nanjing Road, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful." And it was raining too, so like all the lights are just illuminating on the floor. It's
Yeah.
just so pretty, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to try living here for at least a year or something, and I would be so attracted by the idea of it ever since
Yeah.
I was really young. Until today, yeah.
No, yeah, Nanjing Donglu is like really the heart of
Mm.
Shanghai. And like I mean when I went there, I think that's where the Bund is. If you guys
Yeah.
are familiar. And yes, it's really pretty,
Hmm.
really freaking nice skyline.
Yeah.
But like just me personally, I kind of got tired of it. There were so
Ah.
many smokers.
Oh.
And I mean, everyone was just taking pictures and like,
Mm.
uh, I don't know. I'm just not kind of fit for that type of lifestyle, I guess.
Australia would
That's
fit
what
you
I think.
so well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Nice.
mean,
I
I don't
mean,
know. I was kind of worried about that part because I love the city so much, and Australia is such a nature-based country. But kind of reflecting through that, I'm also a very active person, I believe. Like I
yeah,
go work out a lot and stuff now that I'm in Korea and I have a lot of time in my hands. I feel like running through the city when I go to Australia and staying active there, making friends during the way with running clubs would really also kind of change my
yeah, yeah,
perspective on
yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
I may like trees more than concrete sometimes.
Wow, wow, wow. Hey, that's quotable right there.
Mm,
Um, no, but okay, just my biased perspective, but I do think the statistics prove me right here. Of course, it's multifactorial because there are like
mm-hmm.
so many things, like you said, the working culture, and you know, it seems like everyone needs to freaking cut off their arms to pay for a sandwich because it's so
Mm,
expensive in these big cities.
yeah.
But just doing like the baseline research, Korea has a birth rate of 0.72,
Yeah.
uh, and it has the world's, well, among all the OECD countries, it has the world's highest suicide rate. It's
Mm,
at 24.6 per 100,000 people. And its youth suicide rate is like the leading cause of death between ages 10 and 39. So
yeah.
that's kind of fucked up, in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
know it is. Yeah, it is. I think it has to do with, like I said, you have to work your way up so hard just to get so little money, and everything's so expensive here. It's hard to live. A lot of people struggle to live day by day. They just like earn money that day. They have to use it all just to pay for their food, for their electricity, for their water bills. And obviously, if I lived like that, I would be so tired too. Like, I would be tired of, I would be questioning why I'm here in this world. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with how unstable the economy has been, not
yeah,
only just in Korea, but it's because Korea is also impacted by so many other countries that are in war right now. So
yeah, yeah,
everyone
yeah.
else is struggling, but yeah, Korean people, because of their, it's definitely just the working culture. Koreans believe we
Mm,
need to work hard for everything because after the Korean War, it relates to history. After the Korean War, our whole country was in devastation. We literally had nothing. Like Korea was in
yeah,
shambles. Seoul wasn't like this before. But it became this concrete utopia after we
concrete
started.
utopia.
Yeah, that's how I explain it, honestly. We had to learn how to manufacture. And to learn how to
Yes.
manufacture, we need to be educated. So that culture of trying to rank people out and
Yeah,
trying to kind of count ourselves with a specific number, a score or something, comes from that specific culture of trying to be better than others so we can learn the technology and become
yeah,
better. Because literally, there was no life after the Korean War. So everyone wanted to be better,
yeah.
have a better life. And
Do you?
that, yeah, culture continues until now. And even when we don't need it, it still continues and it kind of terrorizes a lot of people.
Yeah, like I really don't think you guys need it, but like I'm not a geographer and I'm not like
Hmm.
an anthropologist, so I really can't say what it's like for developed societies, but like, do you feel a divide just in your personal life, like with your parents' views? Because I feel like coming from a Chinese family,
Hmm.
uh, like, I mean, my parents definitely have like a really completely different worldview to like it's like the antithesis to my worldview sometimes.
Mm.
And yeah, like as you said, I feel like Korea and China both are really heavily influenced by Confucius
Mm.
philosophy, like
Mhm.
putting
Mhm.
other people's happiness and the well-being of, like, for example, the family over everything else, and kind of disregarding oneself and one's mental health and
Mm.
one's
Mhm.
workload over the other. And from my perspective, I feel like our parents and the past generation, they're so freaking strong. They just like
Oh yeah.
like I don't think the old generation talks as much about mental health.
Mhm.
Um, Number one, because it wasn't as popularized before. It wasn't. It was more stigmatized before, definitely. But
Yeah, definitely.
do you feel like the old generation is just, I don't know, like for lack of a better word, harder than us? Like, are they just tougher than us? Like,
Okay. Yeah, I do believe it. It's just I don't see it as much in my parents because
mm,
I don't know about your parents. You said you're kind of come from a more traditionally Chinese. It's coming
yeah.
from a more traditional point of view. Maybe it's because my parents lived in Korea, I mean, lived in the Philippines, sorry, and had a lot of um mixed ideas of Western values
Mm-hmm.
with them. But I wasn't raised with such strong traditional Korean values, I believe. I mean, I was scolded a lot as a child to do my kumon or something, but
Yeah.
it wasn't because they wanted me to succeed, but it was more of like they wanted me to have grades. They wanted me to have the ability in the future to choose whatever I wanted to do.
So opportunity, pretty much.
Yeah.
Not like be the best, but be
Yeah.
able to choose what you want to do,
And
kind
I
of.
feel like being the best is a more traditional point of view because I know that a lot of Korean parents have that point of view where they just want their children to be like judges or
Yeah, to
doctors.
be, yeah.
Yeah, that's the most traditional Asian way you could think of as a parent. And yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on like that. And I think that traditional mindset just comes from the fact of how it has been hard for the past people to actually be raised from a I mean, I feel like they come from nothing. Like a lot of people in our parents' generation, they come from a poor family, but a
Hmm.
lot of them really work their way up. Like I
Right.
see that so much, especially the parents in our school. Like they literally come from poor families in a poor country, and they suddenly become CEOs. They figure out something. And today, if I imagine parents, if they were our age, I can't imagine doing that at all. They really worked
Really?
hard
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
make their families deserve what they needed to raise them up and everything. And I think
Right.
they had it harder. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, after the after the Korean War,
Hmm.
was it sorry. Um I'm not very big on history. So, was it Korea versus, was it Japan or
Oh yeah, that was before the Korean
okay.
War.
So,
Hmm.
what was the Korean War itself? Like, was it Korea and North Korea or
Yes, it was Korea and North Korea, but let's say it was a result of the Cold War with Russia and America because
ah,
the US took sides with us, the South, and
yeah.
Russia took
Oh, the
sides
Soviets.
with the Soviets took side with the North and communism, democracy, Russia and the US had a big struggle with that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
after putting the South and North into different belief systems of our governments, it kind
That's
of
that's
created
that's
that
actually
struggle.
funny because I read somewhere, like
Mhm.
because the Olympics are going on, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I found out like North Korea's name, like actual name, is like the Democratic
Ironic,
like
right?
yeah,
Democratic Republic of Korea or something. I don't
that
know,
is
but
damn ironic.
I know
Right.
it's really weird. But it's so funny because I always get confused when I like choose that part where I have to choose Korea for my nationality. I get so confused whether I'm Republic of Korea, Democratic Republic of Korea, South Korea, or North Korea, because like it's different for every website. So I'm like, what am I supposed
Wow.
to be searching for? Yeah, it's hard. And we're
I
still in a
mean,
war,
yeah.
surprise.
I mean, I imagine it wouldn't be too hard to conflate that, and that's why they made a mistake. They were announcing it in the Olympics, the
I
Paris
know.
Olympics,
Yeah.
and I heard Kim Jong Un was like friggin' steaming, like
Mm-hmm.
he was fuming, man. So
Not
it's
only
pretty
like this, not only North Korea, Korea was also really, really mad because I think it was the flag that they put on wrong for the, no, the name that they put on
yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
They
yeah.
called us
The name.
North Korea, and we were like, what the hell? That's so,
That's
what kind of
that's
mistake is
that's
that?
that's really funny though to an
Yeah.
outsider. To an
Mm-hmm.
outsider, we're like, ah shit, they're
Yeah.
they're gonna be chasing each other's tails, like
Yeah.
that type of thing.
As always. As always.
Yeah, I mean, like politics aside, because I don't know. I feel like right now, like the world can honestly, I feel like we live in a pretty nice like we're like compared to before.
Mm.
I don't think we're okay. How do I say this? Yeah, I feel like there's less violence now than before. There's still violence now for sure.
I know what you
You
mean.
know.
We're in a less delicate society for war, I
Yeah,
guess. Like, we
yeah,
have
I
more
guess.
regulations internationally. Like, there's no third world war going on or
Hopefully,
something. Hopefully, yeah. But,
yeah. Hopefully
yeah.
not. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so like politics aside, um, I I really feel like more people, like especially using social media, should put more emphasis on their personal life
Mm,
because
definitely.
like whenever I'm scrolling just personally like on
Mm-hmm.
social media and see a post about politics, everyone's attacking the other party.
Oh, yeah.
There's just
Yeah.
this bipolar situation going on in most countries, like two parties. There's two parties
Mm-hmm.
in Taiwan right now. There's two
Mm-hmm.
parties in the US. There it's always polar, and I feel like politics aside, big issues about the world, global issues, people
Mm-hmm.
just focus too much on
Mm-hmm.
the global issue, in my opinion, rather than focusing on what they can do to help themselves. Like if we're talking about climate change, like people are too focused on climate change instead of focusing on what they can do to recycle or things
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's a
Mm,
different
yeah, I agree.
perspective, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I don't know. It's just from a Korean perspective, I think a lot of people, like a lot of Koreans, put politics into things that are totally irrelevant from politics in social
Oh,
media.
really?
Yeah, and I feel like that just shows how relevant politics becomes to their lives because of how divided the Democratic and the Republican group are in Korea. It's a
Mm-hmm.
big division between the two, and there's just so much struggle. And even the politicians themselves, I believe, are not focusing on what their values are as a Democratic group and a Republican group because they're just so focused on just going against the person itself. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's the problem. Just don't take it too personally and try to focus on the more important, the big picture of how well our country is supposed to be run. Because I feel like a lot of things, like you said, the big picture of what is that climate change should be and how it should be given to us with more awareness because we're kind of ignoring that thing with just the personal struggles
Mm-hmm.
between I don't know these Republican and Democratic parties that keep on attacking each other and I'm so sick of it in the world news and even just the Korean news. I like have to take a break from watching it sometimes. So
Exactly.
tiring, yeah.
Exactly. My TV was just full of Joe Biden and Donald Trump arguing about who was better at golf.
I
Bro,
know it was ridiculous.
I was so sick of it. And I feel like it's our privilege at least because I'm going
Mhm.
into physiotherapy, you're going into medicine,
Mhm.
that I feel like we can kind of absolve ourselves of as much noise from the political aspect of things and just focus on like oh
Mm.
yeah, how's my patient doing? Of course, like you entrench yourself in the healthcare mess, and
Hmm.
like a lot of doctors freaking hate the healthcare system, but like
Yeah.
at least like we don't have to worry about like our company stocks going down.
We just have to care about the healthcare system changing or something. But it's
Yeah,
so funny because recently saw a meme that I don't know, it gave me so much encouragement. But if it said that if Joe Biden and Trump could be presidential candidates, I can be a doctor. There was a meme like that.
exactly.
It was so funny. I was like, yeah, this is my quote of the year. This is going to be what motivates me to go into med school. And it was so funny. Yeah. Anyways, yeah,
What's
that was.
what's one quote, or like I don't know, like what's one thing like from popular media or anything that like motivates you like in your day to day to do these kind of hard things? Because I feel like sometimes you just need that boost, like
Mm.
even if it's something humorous like that.
Hmm.
Um, no, yeah, like
Hmm. Oh,
because like for example,
mhm.
for me on Instagram actually, I have saved posts because I feel like Instagram's actually
Oh,
like
me too.
do
Me too. I have
yeah,
saved posts.
yeah,
Yeah.
doom scrolling aside, I
Uh-huh.
feel like there are some really nice posts that just help motivate you. So I actually me and Johnny,
Mhm.
for viewers out there, Johnny's just a friend of
Mhm.
mine. I actually did an old podcast with him, which is kind of funny.
Mhm.
But we have this collaborative shared posts area, and we just like put a whole bunch of like motivation
Oh, that's nice.
and like nice life posts like inside, and some funny shit too. So like when we're
Mhm.
feeling down, we just like click on it, and then oh yeah,
Why do you guys
I
have such a
actually yeah,
sweet friendship? You guys like send each
it's
other and save each other
no,
like
no,
nice
no. It's
motivating
it's it's
videos?
it's not that. I mean, it's become more of a habit. Like I don't check it
Mm.
as much, and now
Mhm.
like I'm trying to like get my life more
Mm.
like ironed out. I'm trying to like do more things like that. Like actually check my saved posts, for example.
Mm.
Um,
I see. I see. Yeah, me too.
yeah.
I check a lot of my saved posts. And actually, I could think of a quote right now. I don't know where it's from. Maybe I saw it from like Pinterest or a book or something, but
Oh, yeah.
it said, if they can do it, why can't you?
Yeah.
And it's it kind of connects to how I also save posts on social media because before I used to compare myself to those like really motivating people and I would be like I should become better and I would like always let myself down and that that whole process of putting myself down would actually motivate me to try harder but like and that kind of but putting that aside, because I compare myself to these people on Instagram, that quote kind of tells me they can do it, I can do it too. They're both human. We're both human. We could do it. So I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that post really gets me through the day and kind of stops myself from putting that negative energy on me, from
Yeah.
comparing myself. It's not comparison now that I think of it. It's more like, how should I say it?
It's like if someone broke the record, or if
Mhm.
someone achieved this and they're
Mhm.
an ordinary person in history, then like I can probs do it too, right? That's
Yeah,
that's that's
it's
the
more of a let's go up together. Let's
yeah,
do this
yeah, yeah.
together kind of motivation that I have now. And I think, yeah, that's funny. I kind of had this whole personality change after exams because of it. Like, I kind of realized how toxic I have been to myself. And I kind of
Mm.
realized I don't have to put that much pressure on myself to try
Yeah,
hard. Like,
true, true, true.
I don't have to be a robot.
Y- your Salutatorian speech was actually about how people don't need to be robots. So funny,
Mm-hmm.
like is was that literally inspired by the revelation you just mentioned? Like after exams, oh, it's time not to be a robot. So it's time to make my speech and enthrall everyone, and um, tell everyone that you don't have to be a robot. You can have a nice balanced life. Was
Hmm.
that the revelation that sparked your speech?
Kind of like um, this is hard to explain because I kind of got the news that I was salutatorian like right after our last biology IB exam. That was our last exam, right? Yeah, the was that paper two or paper one?
Uh, Paper two.
Paper two,
I
right
don't
after
know
the
why I
exam.
remember that, but yes.
Yeah, but right after it, our office lady, the upper school lady, came over to me, the secretary, and I was like, I think I'm in trouble now. What the hell did I do? And then they tell me I'm salutatorian. And like in that specific moment, I think that speech kind of like sped through my head.
Oh wow.
And that
Like you already
specific night,
knew. Yeah.
yeah, that specific night, I kind of knew what I was going to write about because first, I really have to thank the people that kind of really motivated me step by step
Hmm.
through my way. And it's kind of also about how, like, I put so much pressure for my bio exam. And actually, so funny because the day before the bio paper two exam, which is like a written examination of like
Yeah.
the process of biology, I don't know. You put bullet points on it.
Exactly.
It's hard.
It's just a written exam, guys, and it's
It's
hard. It's not
it's
easy.
stressful. Yeah, it is a stressful one. And there was a blackout because it rained so hard that night.
Oh man.
And I didn't even study that much for biology. So I was like, I really need to ace this exam. I really need to do hard. And it was dark outside. I stupidly decided to take a nap for 10 minutes and I slept the whole night. I slept the whole night. Yeah, and then I woke up. Yeah, it was a double blackout. I wake
Yeah.
up, 6 a.m., I have to go to school. And I was panicking so hard. But luckily, I don't know, maybe it's the long-term memory that I had. It really helped me throughout that exam and it really
Or
encouraged me.
or maybe yeah, maybe it was the 2 years that you put into the subject before the day of the exam that you didn't need to cram
I
on, right?
know, yeah. And I,
But we can't see that during the moment. It's
yeah,
like
we can't.
do or
Yeah. And
die.
uh-huh. And because but like I felt so much achievement for myself just right after that paper two exam because I knew what I was writing. And I've never felt that during an exam. I've never felt that. So I was like, if I know what I'm doing, it means I have confidence to what I am doing. And then right after that, the I get the news that I'm salutatorian.
Wow, that's like a double, like
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
it kind of really solidified that pride that I had in myself for that moment. And I was like, yeah, this I think is probably one of the biggest achievements in my life. And that's
Yay.
the moment I realized I don't have to be a robot to keep on pressuring myself. I don't have to charge my battery every single time I'm down with the toxic energy just to motivate myself to study. I could focus on something else to actually study rather than be anxious all the time because that was my mindset in high school. I thought I had to be worried 24/7 and you don't know how stressful that was. I was so stressed during break, I couldn't even rest properly.
Yeah,
Mm,
and same here. I can totally relate to you
mm,
in terms of like yeah, not giving yourself a break enough. And but I mean, to your credit and also to my credit, I feel like we needed to achieve high academically to realize that don't need to achieve high academically.
yeah.
Because I feel like life is just a whole like bundle of like fun experiences. Fun. I use the word fun not very sparingly, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's just a whole bundle of experiences and like once we actually have something happen to us, like I don't know, like in our social life,
Mhm.
something big happens, and then it happens, and then you realize like. afterwards you realize, oh, well, it wasn't that, big a deal anyway. But you have to experience it like
That's what I
beforehand,
exactly
right?
think. Yeah, even if it was a painful process, I think I really needed to get through it. Like I really needed to experience that to realize today that I don't have to live so miserably anymore to
Yeah,
actually be that.
it's not something you can read in a book that
Yeah,
the book tells you, oh yeah, stop being anxious, and then you suddenly stop being anxious. I feel
doesn't
like
work like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe a better cure to anxiety is actually living your life and not thinking too much
Mm.
about things. um yeah, I had a different question actually for you
Mhm.
because we're in the topic of books. You
Mhm.
actually read a lot, Jennifer. I don't mean it as like, do you even read type of question. I mean it like, do you read? Because I remember back in elementary school. I always wanted to ask you this, but like, what was up with you and like your movie watching days?
Ooh,
Because guys, in fourth grade, I was it fourth grade? I
fifth
I am
grade.
I'm yeah, fourth or fifth grade. I don't know. I it was PE class, physical education class,
Yeah.
and our coach Meros would always ask us what we did like on the weekend. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a really vague memory, but like every time he asked Jennifer, Jennifer would always say like she watched a new show or a new movie, and that was the
Uh,
name and that was the synopsis of the movie. And I don't know. At that time, I felt like I didn't really like anyone, and I was just an angry kid,
you
back
were a
then. And
hater. You were a hater.
yeah, yeah, I was the number one hater. No, but
Uh-huh.
like I don't know. That always struck me as like interesting. So like what's up with your entertainment nowadays? Like is it books? Is it movies? Is it just Netflix, nowadays?
Mm, I mean, the reason why I watched movies a lot before because I used to love reading and like watching the movie about the book.
Oh
I
wow.
used to love
Okay.
doing that. Yeah, so I was a big bookworm since I was a kid. I mean, my parents are bookworms, so it comes to me because they habitually read all the time. So I just follow whatever they do when I'm a kid, and that habit kind of grew on to me until now. So I probably read a lot. But I think if I was like born very rich in a very extravagant household, I think I would have become a movie director for sure.
A
That's
movie
why
director.
I
Really?
love watching movies. Yeah, I just love that there's another life inside it. There's a life that I don't know of inside a movie. It could be fantasy, it could be SF. It's just so attractive to me, and I love going into that world. And that kind of inspired me to start reading because it's not only movies that you can have that experience, but
It's
it's
also
more with
books, right?
books. Yeah. And it feels more personal with books, if you know what I mean. Because you
Yeah.
can see the characters in a movie and you can empathize or you can sympathize what you feel with them, like the characters.
Yes.
But with the characters in a book, you read it and you imagine yourself in it and it's more personal and I love that feeling. So I I'm reading a lot of Haruki Murakami, who's my favorite actor. I mean
Oh
actor,
wow.
author.
Author.
Sorry.
Wow, wow, wow.
I
I
love Haruki
actually got
Murakami.
I got Kafka on the Shore by Murakami.
I read that like
Uh
3 times.
on on Audible, because I was
Oh.
too lazy to get
Mm,
book. I'm more of an audiobook type guy. I listen to so many fantasy books
I
on
can't do
Audible,
that.
but
I
that's
cannot listen to a book. I cannot do that. Like physically, I cannot focus on what I'm listening to. My attention span is like a 3-year old. 10 minutes, I'm done. Like I cannot do that.
really.
Yeah.
No, yeah, dude. You know what? I'm just gonna go out on a whim and I find people who read and like are
Hmm.
into literature, like movies, that much more interesting. Because I feel like nowadays, man, just not enough people are interested in like books or
Yeah.
like that type of genre.
And I think
Um,
paper books should be more appreciated. I'm so tired of ebooks. I'm sorry. I know it's portable, but I love the traditional page turning books. I miss it so much, and so many people are using their whatever small iPad they
yeah,
use for
Kindle,
reading.
Kindle, Kindle.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not a book though. Like, it's not, it's the whole point of smelling a new book after you kind of buy it from that bookshelf. And I
It's the
love that
smell
feel.
of the book.
Yeah, it's the smell
Oh,
and that like what is that, the gray paper, and then if it's a new book and everything's so aligned, like the lines of the paper, and it's so satisfying when you just flip it like one by one. I miss the feeling, and I feel like it's unappreciated as much as it should be. So, oh, it's so
exactly.
sad.
I've become like kind of a pseudo book collector. I've just got like a bunch here. Um, I don't know if this will be turned into audio or like if it's
Mhm.
like for example, I got The Great Gatsby like over
Ooh,
here,
that's
and
a
I
good
just think
one.
it looks really cool.
Classic.
I got inspired to read it because again, Johnny Wee pops up, the friend I mentioned a while ago. He wrote his extended essay, which is a huge 4,000 word essay,
Wow.
part of our IB diploma. He
Mhm.
wrote it on The Great Gatsby. So I thought like if the guy like he told me it was pretty boring, but I was like, if the guy wrote an entire extended essay on this, might as well just read it anyway, right?
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah.
but yeah, oh what genre are you into? You said sci-fi and like fantasy,
I don't
right?
have a specific genre I'm into. I used to be very into dystopian because,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of like, what is that? Young adult books are based on like dystopian romance. I was like a big fan into that genre before. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Pretty classic,
Really
isn't it?
dystopian romance. I've never read a dystopian romance book. I've read two dystopian novels, which I'm not like proud of. Like it should be more.
Animal
I read,
Farm.
yeah. Oh no, okay. I mean, yeah, I read Animal Farm, but two
Uh-huh.
ones that come to mind were 1984 First School
Hmm?
and Brave New World.
Oh, okay.
Which
I
are
haven't read Brave New World, but I really want to start it. I heard it's so
hmm.
good.
So, uh can I give you like a brief, not synopsis of the book, but just like why you should read it, like
Yeah, sure, of
type
course.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Bring it
Cause
on.
cause cause I'm actually a really bad spoiler. Like uh I've one of my one of my friends or many
Mm-hmm.
of my friends have told me like I'm pretty no, okay, sorry, it was Cairo. It was Cairo. I have this friend Cairo. Both of us are we're not super into anime, but sometimes we watch anime. I feel like I spoiled the anime for him. Like he was getting into a show called One Piece,
Ah.
and then I tried my best not to spoil it for him, but like
Uh-huh.
my mouth's pretty big, you know, so
Back.
yeah, bah. Anyway, no, you've read 1984?
Not really, no. I've only read like half of it, and I was like, no, this
Okay.
is kind of boring.
Yeah, so 1984 and Brave New World, I feel like you should read them as a pair because they're two completely opposite modes of fuck, why are we getting into like politics again? They're two completely different mode like regimes. Like 1984
Mm.
is super authoritarian in the sense that um there's surveillance everywhere. Ev- everyone is prohibited to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is stigmatized, so you are not allowed to have sex in
Oh.
1984. You're
Uh-huh.
not allowed to have romance with anyone, and you have to worship kind of a figurehead. Brave New World is still authoritarian, I think, but I feel like it's so accurate now because um, instead of imposing like instead of imposing like surveillance
Mm.
to guard you,
Mm-hmm.
um they use like psychological warfare, they use drugs, they use entertainment, they
Ooh.
use it's basically a world of like pleasure and constant stimulation, and it's the
Wow.
exact opposite from 1984, which is
Mm.
like complete domination and complete
Mm-hmm.
like abstinence from anything.
Mm.
In Brave New World, uh you have sex with everyone, like
Oh.
in yeah, yeah, it's but both achieve the same things. Both achieve a homogenous society which like just is brainwashed into following the leadership. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I feel like it's applicable to both sides of the political spectrum, like in developed
Mm.
countries, in countries ravaged by war, like they both employ both tactics, kind of, if you think about it.
That's so interesting. You're really telling me everything that people kind of that introduces me to Brave New World in 1984 tell me. They say they should be read as a pair because of how contrasting, but yet similar they are. So, yeah, I'll follow your tip. May I also
Yeah.
suggest a book? May I?
Yes, I was going to ask if you could suggest a book,
Hmm.
because I really need to expand this book list, and I'm sure you have
Hmm.
wonderful books to suggest.
Okay, so I was actually rereading actually this book called The Secret History by Don Tartt.
Sorry, let me write that down.
Okay,
The Secret
okay, sure.
History
Yes, it's called The Secret
by
History.
who?
Donna Tartt,
Donna Tart, like
I believe.
Pop Tart.
I have no clue. I
Okay,
have
The
no
Secret
clue.
History.
Uh-huh.
What's it about?
Okay. It's difficult to explain like the whole story, but it's about a series of murders, happenings or murders, yeah, something like that. And it has to do with I think it was six students in this in a university called Hampton College, Hampton
Mm-hmm.
University, Hampton College. Um, and it's a group of students that are in this very exclusive group that learns Greek. And it's not, when you learn Greek, it's not only about the language of Greek, but it's also about the origins of where the word or where the root of the language comes from. So these six kids are very knowledgeable with history, with a lot of other languages or a lot of other history and stuff. And it's just a scene of this, I don't know, it's a scene of like this mystic discovery into how these Greek beliefs kind of turn into real life. And these students kind of figure it out during their way, and they even kill their friend or something while doing it. And it kind of shows the true nature of how human nature works, of how Greek mythology connects so much to our daily life and our greed, our like most sacred desires or something. And I feel like it just reveals so much about ourselves while reading it. So I really suggest it because you could just read it mindlessly and it's gonna be like, wow, that was a hit to your brain. It's a good book, I would say.
Oh, it sounds interesting, like, because I had a friend who taught me a bit about like Greek words,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, it's pretty cool, because I learned that like half the medical, or like more of the medical dictionary, comes from like Greek words. And uh I don't know, like Greek culture and like history is like super interesting.
Yeah,
Have you
very.
delved into that yet?
I have not, but I think rereading this book has actually gained my interest of actually starting Greek because of how interesting the whole, I don't know, it's like, it's not even a language, I believe. It's a more of a, how should I say? It's like a subject in school. Like it's a major that you can really delve into so many aspects. It's not only language, it goes into history, it goes into so much
Oh yeah.
literature, and it becomes like a different section of where Greek this this comes from, that comes from, this root comes from. So yeah, I really want to get into stuff like that and like Latin because of how they become the origin of what we're speaking today, English.
True, true.
Yeah.
It's like you'll never use Latin, but it's
Mm.
like, oh yeah, I know Latin. It's kind of like it's cool.
Yeah, it's
For
cool. And it's sad
lack
it's
of a better word.
yeah, and it's sad that it's labeled as the forgotten language, you know? I feel
Oh,
like it
is
has
it?
so much. It has so much potential because it just makes the basis of what we are saying today. But it's apparently becoming forgotten, which sounds a little weird to me because we're literally kind of saying some Latin words every day. Yeah, exactly.
Huh. Well, it's basically just English is just an amalgamation of American language, like British like language and Latin, I guess, right? But it's
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
I feel like if you said a while ago, if you were the richest or not richest, if you were like uh multiple times richer and you could pick whatever you wanted, you would study like to be a movie director.
Yeah.
For me, it would be to learn something obscure like freaking Latin or Greek or history, like some niche in history, because I just feel like it's cool.
Yeah, that's cool too. And I think I don't know. I don't want to be some normal movie director, but I kind of also want to become like a documentary director because of the number of
Really?
documentaries. Yeah, you asked me what I'm doing nowadays. I'm
Yeah.
watching Netflix, and most of the stuff that I watch are like documentaries or what are those like what do you call those, sitcoms or
Oh yeah, yes, yeah, sitcoms.
sitcoms or I forgot, like you know those dating shows, like you know those people where they match up.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
I love those.
reality TV.
Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
love those. It's so
Reality
funny.
TV.
I don't understand like why they cannot be compared to like a K-drama or something because they
Cause,
feature
cause
real
it's
life
real.
people.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
real. And it's so funny. Like there's this Korean show that are made for like, because there's like this show called Singles Inferno that are for like 20-year-olds in Korea that are like all charming, they're all really hot, and they're like really fit and everything. But there's this other show called I'm Solo in Korea where they feature a lot of like these 30s and 40-year-old people that are really desperate to get married.
Or like not so good looking people.
Yeah, they're like normal, you would say. They're the average Korean population kind of people. Like you would see them walking down the street is what I mean. And like these people are desperate to get married. And that's what makes that show so much better than Singles Inferno because these people
Yeah,
are desperate to actually meet people. And it's different
yeah,
from the reaction you get on Singles Inferno where they have options, they have
yeah. Where everyone's like inundated with options already, right?
yeah, and it's just so real. I'm like, yeah, this is what I can watch with some popcorn. This.
Hey, finally a relatable show for me. On
Oh my
Netflix,
goodness.
bro. Oh my goodness. Oh my
Why
goodness.
are you dissing yourself like that? Come on,
No,
Ding.
no, 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 no. But like, yeah. I feel like just relatable. I'm looking for relatable shows, but like at the same time, you mentioned documentaries before, and
Hmm.
I've actually gotten a. It's funny, and this is another coincidence. But like yesterday, I started like watching this documentary. It's called Strength Unknown. It's just a really like small documentary on YouTube, just by like
Oh.
a strongman. It's just like he just travels all over the world,
Uh-huh.
and because I'm a nerd, uh, he just covers a bunch of like ancient lifting techniques, like where people use
Ah,
stones
whoa.
there was this video on like Mongolian wrestling that I watched. Yeah, and like a video where like he went to like a park in China, and then like there were old people like doing calisthenics and stuff. No, but like
Oh.
I but like upon watching that, I was like, I don't just want to stick to like my niche, which is like weight
Mm.
training and things like that. I want to expand my horizon and like and stop being such a gym nerd. I want to like um there's this guy on YouTube. Sorry, let me search him up.
No wonder you like Physical 100. I was like, what's so good about that show? And you were like, Jennifer, you should watch Physical 100. It's an excellent show. And I was like, huh. And I just see the
Physical 100.
trailer. Yeah, and I see the trailer, and it's just a bunch of muscular people competing for like
Yes.
different
Yeah, so
obstacles. And I was like, whoa, okay,
yes.
this is Ding's show. This is definitely Ding's
Well,
thing.
well, yeah. So if you guys don't know, Physical 100 is like just basically a physical contest to see like which person has the peak human physique, and like they
Mm-hmm.
battle it out in these challenges and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys are interested in that, that's a recommendation. Oh, his name. I watched this other one.
Mm-hmm.
It is a food documentary show thing. It's by Anthony Bourdain. It's called Parts Unknown, and so
Mm-hmm.
this guy, I think he just travels around the world and like he just eats food from all over the world. So
That's a
yeah,
neat
so
job.
those are the types of documentaries I'm trying to get myself into. Just more of that type. But um what were you like watching on Netflix for
I need to get
documentaries?
out of my niche too. I am only watching crime documentaries. You should.
Oh
Okay, I was
wow.
watching this documentary called The Files, I believe, and it's just a whole bunch of different research about American conspiracies. And this guy basically, like this one reporter, basically like kind of set those all together about you American conspiracies and set them up into an octopus shape, and it's called the Octopus Files. And it's a mystery because that reporter mysteriously died one day, and his files were all dumped in his house, and they were just left unattended for years until this 30-year-old guy like found it this year, several years before or something, and he decided to make a Netflix documentary about it. It's so interesting. There's so much and like so much.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's like
S-
crazy American conspiracies. Like it's not like
Like the
Illuminati or
like
something.
I was about to mention like the Illuminati.
It's not something
Like
like that. It's something that honestly could be probable. Like there are people that are actually mentioned in this
oh wow.
conspiracy that makes sort of sense. And this guy is in prison or like for some unusual happening. And it's so interesting. So yeah, I watched that and I highly recommend it. The ending is amazing as well. I also
The
watched
octopus case, right?
Octopus Files or something. If you search The
The
Octopus,
octopus files.
I think you'd find
Yeah.
it. And I also watched The Bad Doctor. It's about this scam surgeon, maybe scam, we don't know. But he had this genius idea of transplanting plastic esophagus into patients that need therapy for
Okay.
their, yeah.
Okay.
And he basically set this plastic tube and he put stem cells on them. And he's decided to transplant them on people's necks. And
Wait. Wow. So stem cells, like pluripotent stem cells, like into.
we're literally bio students. We are so bio
Oh,
students. We know what we're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but like because I mean they technically can grow into new tissue, like in the form of esophageal tissue, like
mhm.
and in that shape too. So
Yeah.
that like did it work?
Well, first it worked. And then the problem is all of his patients died. And the stories of how these patients died is crazy because one of the patients, she's a Russian patient that was suffering from a very severe accident that she faced with her neck, and she was so happy to have this surgery. She was calling him this Italian doctor a god or something. But
Yes.
like months later, she was coughing up her own flesh. Well,
Oh.
think about it. It's just stem cells covered. I mean, it's just a plastic tube covered with stem cells, and that was just transplanted into her body. And that was where it all went wrong. And while everyone thought it was a genius idea to have this manufactured esophagus available for every one of the patients in the world that suffer from a similar case, all of his patients that had the surgery died. So the police got
Did
curious
they?
about it.
I
Yeah,
mean, why'd he keep doing it if the track record was 100% fatality? Like,
and it's crazy because he didn't even have a proper testing procedure for it. You know how there's like
that's
this whole
crazy.
testing procedure with animal testing to human testing just to test if it's safe. He
Yes.
skipped all the procedures. And it has to do with something with this um Swedish institute, Karolinska Institute, I believe it's like
Oh,
the one of the
that's crazy. That's
yeah,
one of the
it's the
that's
best
one of the
medical
leading
yeah.
best medical places. Yeah,
And
and they backed him. Wow.
yeah, he was one of the top surgeons in that institute. And the whole Karolinska board, I guess, just supported him because he was gaining them so much fame. He was gaining them so much more donations and stuff.
Yeah.
And it all went to mess, into this big mess because all of his patients died in such a painful way. It's just imagine coughing up your own flesh and smelling the rotten flesh inside your body. Like that's terrible. And that's what
That's
I know.
crazy.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine it. And the whole like documentary bases itself on the doctor's ex-girlfriend. She's a reporter. That's why she created this Netflix series. It's
Oh,
so
wow.
good. You need to watch it. It's
Damn.
a
Dude,
10 out of 10.
that is the ultimate payback for
I think.
a sour relationship.
Well,
Uh
because he was cheating on her with like, I don't know, 10 other women or something.
that's crazy. So
Yeah.
so the guy's a certified douchebag doctor, pretty much,
Plus,
right?
ultimate scammer.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah.
Wow, I just got two really good documentary recommendations. I feel like I'd be on the documentary binge. Like I feel like our age right now, Jennifer, like
Mm-hmm.
sorry to talk like if we're old. Like if you guys don't know, Jennifer and I just graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know, just petty or like just shows about random things or like fictional shows in my opinion
Mm-hmm.
aren't as captivating to me right now. I feel like my interest just shifted a bit, I guess. But like I find like learning or like seeing new places like those kinds of documentaries or like the ones you mentioned like the real life documentaries, those are like whoa, because they actually happened, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I agree. I used to think documentary watching people are the most boring people in the world, but
really, yeah, me too, me too.
that was a big mistake. I became one of those people, and I regret so much. Documentaries are more entertaining than what I expected to be, especially for me. It's the crime documentaries. I'm like knitting and just watching crime documentaries.
Oh
That's like my
really?
everyday. Yeah, you can just see
Like
me couch.
is it like do you know the difference between what's the difference between knitting and like crocheting? Because
Crocheting, you okay, I'm confused with the two of them. I may be switching them around. One of them you use just
oh
one pin. It's a metal ring, I guess, that has a bit of a
yeah.
hook at the top, and you use that to knit the whole thing. You just use that one,
Okay.
and you can make more intricate designs with that hook.
Yeah.
But for the other one, you use two different chopstick looking wooden sticks, and you basically it's not good for like intricate designs, I would say. I use this two stick method because I just want to go easy with it and I want to make like simple sweaters or like simple I make scarves. I can't go as far as sweaters yet.
Oh,
I'm too
that's cool. I mean,
yeah,
you can save a lot of money, like
exactly. One yarn only
exactly.
costs like less than $1 in Korea. So I only use
Oh,
like two yarns. So less than $2 for a really warm knitted
dang.
scarf. It's a good deal.
Dang. Dude, you should definitely make a side hustle out of knitting.
I
Legit.
I
Like,
cannot. You should see my knitted scarf. It is so bad. I don't know how I ended up with that design, but it's so uneven. It's like, how did I even end up with this shape kind of mode? It's like,
well,
ugh.
I mean, if it's something to wear, like out, in the winter,
That's true.
can't
Yeah.
really complain if it's fashionable, like,
As long as it keeps me warm, I'm good. If I don't freeze to death, I'm good.
yeah, exactly. Just don't die of hypothermia and we're good, like,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. But, um, let me see if I have a couple like closing questions here, because you know what, Jennifer, like if you're down, like I definitely have you for a future episode, because like right, like this episode was, I don't know, just super enjoyable for me, like
Me too. It's a
little
relaxing, just
side note.
conversation kind of mode. It reminds me of when we were in quarantine and we would just talk,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like those late
Oh,
night
okay.
talks. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that can be the last question. Like, what's your
Okay.
favorite memory of high school? Actually, like, I
Ooh.
don't know. Just because we're beginning our new college life, our new amazing fun like adventure into the adult world. So like, what's your favorite memory of high school?
That's hard. I can think of two, but most mm, most memorable one would probably be finding myself because I feel like high school is when I kind of gained consciousness of who I am.
Please don't tell me it's that moment where you finish the biology exam that you finally, like, it must,
No.
okay, it must be like some other moment, right?
It's
Like,
not that, but I think it's during quarantine because I had so much
mm,
time by myself. And it's not just like one specific moment, it's like multiple
yeah,
moments because during quarantine, every day was like a repeat, repeat, repeat. But I had a routine back then,
yeah.
and because of that routine, I had so much leftover time that I could use for thinking, I guess, before I sleep.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like I think one of the most memorable things was during those times when I had leftover, like, I would call you guys, like you. There was this, okay, for those of you who don't know, we had this big group chat called I see
Yeah.
in Discord.
And yeah, funny thing, he's making a triple appearance. Johnny Wee, the friend we mentioned a while ago, he has this iconic phrase. He's also Korean, and
Hmm.
his English at the time now is still a bit skewed. No shot to Johnny, but like
Poor Johnny.
but he does say a lot of things that are kind of out of whack, and it's funny
Yeah.
because he has a little bit of an accent, and like he just says things in a funny way, and then he always used to say, ah, I see. So yeah,
Yeah.
we just named the group chat that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we used to have a bunch of people there, and
Yeah.
it's so interesting because every one of us were so ambitious. And talking
Oh,
to
true.
you guys,
True.
like the ambitious people, impacted
True.
me so much. So I think one of my most memorable parts of high school would probably be talking to people that were as ambitious as me. And I was like, whoa, okay, there are people that I can connect to. And you guys kind of like set up, set up that plan a lot for me. And yeah. And that and Bashbora, the trip that we had to Boracay Island, that was the most memorable, I think, not just high school, but my whole life because of how, yeah, it just highlighted the end of our whole teenage life. Like, I never thought that I would ever feel that kind of feeling, like, of how my teenage, like, life would end. I didn't think there would be, like, a strict line between teenage, college, but because of that trip, I kind of felt that I was transitioning into a new person, into a
Yeah.
different age, into a different responsibility that I should be taking care of. And honestly, it was fulfilling. It was a fulfilling feeling. And that's why it's
Truly.
so
Yeah.
memorable to me because Yeah, I left the friends that I love so much. The senior sunset, I mean sunrise was like, oh my God, I cried so much because my friend was crying and I just cried because I saw her cry.
Aw.
Yeah, it was a farewell to all my amazing friends and yeah, it was just memorable. I don't think I'll ever forget that feeling ever again.
If you guys don't know, we have a tradition in our school. Like every graduating class goes to this island in the Philippines, Boracay. The whole class of 2024 this year went there.
Hmm.
For sure, it was for sure it was a highlight for me. But one regret was not regret, but like I wish I could have felt more. You know how you have
Mm,
those moments where you just want to feel something, you want to cry, you want to feel like uh an emotion. Like I felt kind of apathetic in the
really?
sense that I was forcing a lot of emotions to come out,
Oh.
and then they were just like, I don't want to come out,
Mm,
but I felt like it was a really slow trickle. I felt it at the end, like
mm,
after the trip ended. I realized I'm probably not gonna see uh 80% of these people ever again that I spent 4 years of high school with. And once you realize that, and you realize like, oh, like all the fun memories, and like just, it's cliche, but just being there with the people like really made it worthwhile. So
damn.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And what you said about the ambitious people, why you loved our group chat, ICIC.
Yeah.
As Jennifer said, we had a group chat back then. It was three guys and four of you girls.
Mm.
Yeah, you had such a deeper interpretation of it, like being in such an ambitious group. You said like made you happy. For me, it was just my first time actually talking to any girls, like as friends even. Like literally, I talked to no girls before that, and then
Um.
so literally like the three of us, me, Johnny, and another friend, like yeah, no, that was my first like every time talk, like going out of my shell and like just being more
Mm.
social. So that's my like interpretation of that. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, these wonderful ambitious people. No, it was just like, oh wow, I
Seriously,
cannot.
I didn't
Yeah.
even think of it like that. I was like, why are they suddenly inviting us? Why are they suddenly inviting us? I was like, ding, really?
No, yeah, but I feel like it happens in high school, like
Yeah.
when you're a kid, you're so I feel like everyone is so feels so oppressed by the other gender, and like it's a gender war,
Mm.
like we in school we used to have like gender volleyball, like girls versus boys.
Yeah, right,
And
yeah.
then like in high school that barrier just kind of breaks, like you just kind of, oh, it's there's actually not like a brick wall like separating girls and guys,
Yeah, I think
so
yeah, I also liked ICIC because it kind of broke that barrier. It broke my yeah, very solid mindset that I should only be talking to girls. And then I think ICIC was kind of that group chat that made me realize that I can be choosing who I can filter in my friends. Like I could be choosing nice people, not I don't have to just chase for like whatever popularity that you have to chase in sixth grade,
yeah.
middle school.
Yeah,
Yeah, like everyone's so focused on that thing that when you go to high school, you actually realize like you don't popularity doesn't even matter anymore. And I'm so glad I'm so glad I covered myself with people that actually care
exactly.
for me, right?
Yeah. I feel like our batch is mature, or our class, for
Mm,
other
definitely.
listeners out there, is mature in the sense that, and honestly, like we just congregated kind of like as a small family in the end. There was no
Mm-hmm.
like uh popularity mattered. Like I mean, you can argue that, like, end of the year drama and stuff like that, but like
Yeah.
in the end that happens with all classes, and I feel
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah, I feel like I had a really positive experience out of it, and that's actually what Wow, what a wonderful ending. That's what actually inspired this podcast, just
Wow.
yeah,
Whoa.
getting
Okay.
to
Okay.
talk to all of
Wow.
you guys. Like, I don't even care if I, like this podcast episode gets however many views. I'm just here for the conversations,
Mm.
like and putting you guys out there so you guys can express yourselves and like just be you guys. So I don't know. That's why this podcast was created, Jennifer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clap, 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 clap. Round of
Clap, clap,
applause.
clap. No, thank you so much for being the first guest in this podcast. I
Like I
really
said, I'm
appreciate
honored.
it.
I'm honored. This is the first episode, and you put me as your first guest. I'm very honored.
No, yeah, I was trying to rack my brain for who would be a first good guest. I was like, I haven't talked to Jennifer in a while. I feel like we have a lot to talk about actually. Let's get Jennifer on here. And yeah, I feel like it turned out really well. Yeah.
I agree. It was a very nice, smooth, comfortable conversation, I would say. Didn't feel like a podcast at all.
I think that's how it should feel. That's
Yeah, it
that's my
should.
goal. It's my goal.
Mm-hmm. Right on point. You're right on point.
Right. But yeah, thanks so much, Jen. Yeah, and hope you have a great day, and hope in the future you will make a reappearance sometime in the future. Like when hopefully, like I don't know, like maybe we'll see a struggling Jennifer in medical school or something. I don't know.
Don't call me if I'm in med school, please.
Oh no.
I don't. Maybe we'll have like a real life, like one-on-one pod. Not even like a video call. Maybe we'll both be in Australia by then.
Maybe.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
But yeah, stay tuned for more, guys. And again, thank you so much, Jennifer, for being on here.
Thank you for calling me.